Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Brian Hover, not Horror, so don't get it twisted. Hi everybody, I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you guys are living your best life and staying safe out there. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. By the way, if you're new, if you are into mystery, crime, and paranormal, please go ahead and click that subscribe button because we're almost at 200 beautiful badass subscribers. So go ahead and join the horror fam bam over here. Come on, you know you want to. So today, guys, I am not gonna be talking about a missing person case. Like I said, I am taking a little tiny whiny break from just doing missing person cases because I do want to start making more content. But today we are going to be going over a true crime case, which is one that I recently watched on the show Unsolved Mysteries, which is a reboot of the original that is on Netflix if you guys want to check it out. This case was just so good for me not to cover on my channel, and I was like, where are all the other videos? There's not really a lot of videos on this person's case, so we're gonna get right into it, you guys. So today I am going to be talking about the case of Ray Ramirez. Ray Ramirez was a freelancing videographer. He was a writer. He had dreams of becoming like a screen director, writing plays basically in movies. And during his last few, I guess, years, he had recently moved in to Baltimore, Maryland with his wife Allison, who had just gotten married 6 months ago, I believe. And so they moved into the neighborhood. So of course Ray and his wife were new to the area and he did not have a job, but one of his friends from high school by the name of Frank Stansberry actually owned a company of his own named Stansberry's and Association, which was a financial firm. So of course he offered his best friend from high school, Ray, an opportunity to work for him, and of course Ray did take up the opportunity. So we're gonna start getting into when things started to get a little bit shady. So it was on May 16 of 2006 when his wife Allison was actually gonna be leaving. Well, she actually did leave on a trip. It was a business trip. So of course, you know, Allison goes on her business trip, and as soon as she lands, she decides to give Ray a phone call. But when she did call him, he did not answer. But she didn't really think anything of it, but it was really kind of weird. I mean, Ray and Allison were just so much in love. They were just recently wedded, so of course, you know, it was kind of weird for her, but she just let it slide the first time. It wasn't until, and I believe actually, let me go back a little bit. She did try to phone him again that same night, but once again he did not answer, and this is when Allison started to get a little bit concerned. And it is not until the next day when Allison's roommate, she actually calls Allison the next morning and reports that Ray had never came back, and that's when she tells Allison that the same day when she had gone on her business trip, that Ray had received a mysterious phone call in the afternoon around like 6 p.m. or somewhere around that time frame, and all she remembers hearing Ray say was, "Oh shit," and he looked very anxious, or like, you know, something wasn't right, and he immediately took off and left the house like if he was in a hurry. So of course, after hearing the news that, you know, Ray just, you know, suddenly left out of the house in a hurry, just wearing flip-flops, looking very like agitated or something was wrong, she got very concerned. So of course she hurried up with her business trip and started actually reporting to Ray's brother Angel that, you know, nobody had seen Ray and that he hadn't come home. So of course everyone started getting very alarmed because this was very uncharacteristic of Ray to do. So Allison flies back from her trip and immediately lands and starts looking for Ray. Everyone basically meets up at the house and they all start searching for Ray. And of course, they have no idea where Ray is, and there is no sign of where he could be. So of course, you know, after searching for a little bit and not finding him, the family decides to call the police and report Ray missing. And when the police actually show up to interview the family, so they ask about Ray if there had been any like weird circumstances going on leading up to the days before he went missing, and Allison does state that I believe like it was like the week before he went missing, there was a couple of strange occurrences that had taken place. One of the first times was sometime in the week, in the middle of the night, their alarms go off in the house, almost as if somebody was trying to break in the house. And Ray just looked so petrified and scared. And it was, like I said, it was very uncommon for Ray to be scared. I mean, he was a really tall guy. He was never scared of anything. Nothing really could scare him. But on this night, Allison did report that he was really scared. And the next day as well, but around 1 a.m., the alarms go off again. And of course, Ray just looked scared. He looked like he was worrying about something, or he basically looked paranoid, apparently, from what Allison said, and she already felt concerned about that. And of course, the police searched the home to see if anything had been fumbled with, if anybody had broken in. The only thing that they really find was that one of the windows downstairs did look like, somebody was trying to get in. So of course, an investigation immediately starts to search for Ray. And it's not until like 6 days later, after he went missing, the family was actually, I believe it was Ray's parents, my bad, was actually driving around when they come across Allison's car that Ray was driving that night. The car was actually parked in Mount Vernon parking lot, which is also adjacent to Stanberry's and Association where Ray worked. So they basically found the car in between the Belvedere Hotel and Ray's job, Stanberry's and Association. So they immediately investigate and look around the car, and nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. But they do find that there was a ticket that was issued the same, well, not the same night, but the night after he had gone missing. He went missing on May 16 of 2006, and the ticket was issued May 17 of 2006. So they immediately, start calling the police, and they of course show up and start investigating and searching for Ray. So basically, looking down from the top of an adjacent parking structure, they noticed a hole on top of the hotel's lower roof below. So of course they immediately think it's really weird, but then they actually notice, and somebody points out, a pair of flip-flops. And so of course they have to check it out. So after the 2 days of searching, they basically decide to investigate the room where the hole was created on the top of the roof. And the room was actually an abandoned conference room of the hotel. It wasn't very used, actually. Nobody would ever really go up into this room. And when they actually go and investigate, it is when, unfortunately, they find Ray's body facing upward. And of course, police immediately speculate that this was a suicide. The thing that's also weird, you guys, is that like the flip-flops were actually found on top of next to the hole, where the hole was created on top of the roof. And they actually did find Ray's glasses and phone laying next to him. But one of the really weird things about it was that the phone was completely intact, and his glasses, same thing. There was no single scratches on it. And it's really weird because apparently the fall would have been 120 feet from where he fell, and also from the injuries he sustained. So this is of course when the family believes that this must have been a murder. Also, one of the flip-flops that was found on top of the roof, or what had actually been ripped almost as if he was being dragged. The other flip-flop was intact, but I'm not even gonna get too into detail, you guys, but the way that they found Ray's body, he definitely fell from 120 feet above, and his injuries were just so traumatic, you guys, that all I will say is that he nearly almost broke every bone in his body. Apparently, from the roof that he would have fallen to sustain those injuries, Ray, like the hotel, and I'll insert images for you guys to make it a little bit more easier. Ray would have to jump 45 feet in order to reach where the hole was, basically where he had fallen. This means that Ray would have had to run at least 11 miles per hour in order to reach where that hole, where he was basically fallen from. And to be honest, even though Ray was athletic, it seems nearly impossible for somebody to do something like that. And to me, it's even weird, like, even if this was a murder, you guys. It's still kind of weird in my opinion, because even if it was like 2 people involved or 1 person involved, even with the strength of 2 people, you guys, I think it still would be almost nearly impossible to throw a body 45 feet. So one of the interesting parts about this case is when they actually find a note during the investigation attached behind Ray's computer. The note was actually very odd. If I'm being honest, it just seemed like a lot of gibberish. A lot of the speculation also theorizes that maybe this really was a murder and it was just a complete cover-up from the company that Ray recently worked for, Stanberry's and Association, because they were growing increasingly suspicious throughout his case. His own best friend Frank completely did not give any interviews to the police. He also like made sure that the employees stayed quiet and that they did not get involved in any interviews or part of the investigation, which is really weird for somebody to be your best friend for such a long time, and in a time where they need to find justice for Ray or some sort of answers, and you are not willing to help somebody who was your best friend. This company had lawsuits that were being filed against, so maybe the company was trying to hide something that Ray knew. We don't know. When the police actually go through Ray's phone records, they actually find that one of the last persons that Ray talked to was from the Stansberry's and Association building. The call was actually made from a switchboard, so the police couldn't actually trace where or who the call actually came from, but all they know is that it did come from where Ray used to work. Unfortunately, there have not really been any more leads or evidence because this case was closed. It was ruled as a suicide, but a lot of his his family does not believe that this is a suicide. They feel, from knowing Ray for all those years, that this was somehow a cover-up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any information on this case, any updates, please leave them down below in the comment, or leave any comments. Please interact in my comment section, you guys. I would really appreciate that. Stay tuned for more videos, you guys. I will have a lot more content in store for you guys. Give this video a big thumbs up. Once again, subscribe to my channel so you can be part of the horror fan bam, and I will see you guys on my next video. Take care and stay safe out there. Bye guys.